Welcome back to Masters of Arabia. In blue we have a Bajzel, and over in teal we have a Toray. And naturally, being game one, of course, they will both be playing as Huns, and Hun Wars always seem to go the same way. That is, every now and then you get the Drush, which then goes into the double archery, then the Smith. Every now and then you see the single archery, and then the Smith go down, just because they want to get that tech up, just because it's always good to be able to outrange your opponent, especially if you're using skirmishes versus archers, just because you'll be able to do so much extra damage with those skirmishes, I'm not saying that you can't do damage with skirmishes, but just saying that being able to maximize that damage with that range upgrade is just amazing. So it generally goes from that, and then sometimes we get the third archery up, then they advance up in the castle, and then they pretty much just make cavalry archers for the rest of the game. So it really comes down to a lot of things, and that is the positioning of the players, the micro of the players, how well they do it, and the amount of harassment that gets done to each player. Those are the real big things in Hun Wars. You can see that we've got the back gold here, backwoods, going to be able to wall it off fairly easy there. Gold's over there, stone and stone, and berries towards the front. So it's not too bad a location. He does have this gaping big hole on this side here though, and he does have a moderately big hole here, and this section over here is just going to be a pain to wall. So for Toray, it's really going to come down to the fact he's not going to be able to wall so easily. So he's going to need to try and keep his opponent cooped up in his base as much as possible, because that's going to allow him to do pretty much whatever he wants when it comes to it. So it means he's less likely to get harassed, basically, if he's not walled. But if he has archers up here harassing his opponent, chances are he's not sending archers down to harass him. So right now the scores are pretty close. We've got Toray taking the lead there, and we'll just have a look at the scouting quickly. Bajzel has just found his opponent up here, found that mill, has no idea where his town center is yet. However, he would be able to tell it's in this area over here, just by the fact that would just be the general assumption. So he's found both of his opponent's main stone mines. Well, his main one is there, gold mine there, and he's scouting his opponent quite well. He knows where pretty much everything is going to be after this. He knows where his main source of lumber is. He has extra gold sources, extra wood sources, and he should come across his gold source any second. Yep, there we go. So he knows pretty much where all of his opponent's main, well, things are. He doesn't know that his opponent's lumber camp is there, so that's going to hurt until he finds out, just because in Feudal Age and Dark Age, the best points of harassment are the lumber camp. So let's swap over to Toray quickly and hit that fog of war. And did he just lose his scout? No, it survives there like a champion. So he's found his opponent, knows where his gold mines are, so knows he can harass this section here quite easily. And if he does harass this section, he's going to have access to this entire area here, and that means he's going to be able to take over both these gold mines and this lumber area here all at the same time, which is a big bonus. And the even bigger bonus this is, there's no other woods close to his town center, so if he forces him off this one here, it means most likely he's going to be sent all the way down over here. Or is there another one? No, there's not. So it's going to be really, really hard. And I think Bajzel knows this, because he's actually going forward right now with these villages. He knows as well as Toray right now that there's going to be a lot of damage done between these games. And it looks like I'm starting to experience a little bit of lag again. That's not nice. So barracks is going up now for Toray, and no barracks up over here. Wall off going down for Bajzel. And I have no idea if that's how to pronounce it or not, but that's how I'm going to. It sounds nice and fancy. And it looks like he's going really forward, actually. We've got the barracks going down there, and he's not on stone yet, so it doesn't look like we're going to see a tower rush. Looks like he's just going to go as forward as he can. There we go. And what are we going to see? Scouts, archers, minor harassment down over there. We do have the main scout out there. Scouts for Toray though, and archery range for Bajzel right now. And I don't think Bajzel has scouted this. Let's have a quick look. Wrong person. I don't think Toray has scouted this. Yep, Toray has scouted that. So he knows what to expect. He knows his opponent's going forward, going for that wall off there, walling off this back section here as quick as possible. Looks like there is going to be the tower going up. Yep, there we go. And it doesn't look like we have much production back home though, because he's built that barracks forward, so it's going to be extremely hard to get these spears up, which means that once these cavalry here manage to kill off this spear, that's pretty much it until reinforcements get there. And there we go, so now he's got free run of these villages. So that's pretty much how it's going to go until all these spears get back down here. That's the main problem with going forward. If you have to defend, you're pretty much screwed. in a sense, at any rate. And looks like he's going to be going for more towers, because we see that mining camp going down there as well. But right now we have Toray coming up around this side, going to be able to harass these villagers over here. And Bajzel isn't even on gold yet. So that is going to really hurt. This means he's not going to be able to get any archers out at this stage, and it means it's going to take him a bit more to advance as well. We have lots of skirmishers out there right now for Bajzel. He's going to be able to do quite a bit of damage, but naturally these scout cavalry will be able to take them out very quickly just because they close that gap so well. And these spears here though are going to be the difference between losing all these skirmishers to these scout cavalry and absolutely destroying them. So again, the other thing is when you use mass skirmishers like this, they do next to no damage to villagers, so there's not really a lot you can do. And here we go now, managing to get through here, and town center being garrisoned of course, and doing some damage to the skirmishers, so you always have to watch how you micro your units. That's probably the biggest thing I can say to anyone. You've always got to watch your units, because if you lost like 4 or 5 skirmishers there, that's a lot of resources to lose. Another tower going up for Bajzel, so he is starting to tower rush his opponent right now. Toray has gone from the stable though into the double range, and I don't think we've seen a smith yet from either player. No, we have not, but here comes more units from Toray right now to get the harass. These spears fighting them off on that section there. Right now I would say Bajzel does have the run of the map, but Toray does have a economy advantage right now, underscore advantage, so he's going to be able to run that for as long as he can. But once these scout cavalry start to get some kills, like this villager here, gonna be in trouble. No upgrades on these guys yet. We do have the blacksmith going down for a Bajzel there, and no upgrades on you either. Or do we have any of you? Do we have bloodlines? No bloodlines, no armor, no forging, nothing there at all. So at this stage, it's just a plain vanilla fight-off. It's going to come down to who can mass the most units and who masses the most counter units. I will say though, Bajzel is starting to look like he is in a bit of not so much trouble, as his opponent is going pure skirmishes, and skirmishes versus skirmishes is fine. But when you're starting to add archers to the mix as well, those skirmishes of course can just pick off those archers. But he does have run of the map right now, like I've been saying the whole time, so he's not really in trouble. I was going to say he's in trouble, but long as these spears are here, these cavalry that he's got can't really do anything, so there's no point saying he's in trouble. Once he loses these spears though, he's going to be in a world of trouble. Well, those skirmishers will be. Archers not so much, but the skirmishers. And we've got the range upgrade there and the range upgrade there. We've already got the armor upgrade onto these archers and skirmishers though. And here we go, looks like he is purposely picking off these spears here actually, and once that happens these scouts can move in. And moving those to the back there, tower pushing him off the side here, and this could turn into quite a long game. Especially if it keeps going the way it is, because neither player is really making any progress at this point. And unless we see someone go up to Castle Age, it's not really going to break it. Yep, neither player going up to Castle Age at this time, so neither player is going to be able to break this lock. And advancing is always a good way to break a lock, just because you can not only get stronger units than your opponent, but you can out-tech them, you can go forward castles, you can upgrade your towers, you can get murder holes, you can get those range upgrades, you can get all those upgrades that make it important. And here we go, hill up advantage there, going to be able to take out quite a few units, so there we go. And Toray's starting to push this advantage he's got. He knows his full skirmishers versus them, and unless Bajzel gets some scouts out, there's not a lot he's going to be able to do against this skirmisher army, because as we know, spears of course aren't really good to be fighting against skirmishers. Of course skirmishers don't get any real bonus versus them, except the fact they can kill them before they get to them, but apart from that, there's not really a lot they can do. We can see that Toray is going all out on his economy right now, and if we compare economies, we know how that's going to go out. And it looks like he might just lose this fight, actually. It's going to come down to how well Toray can manage these skirmishes. He's picking off a lot of archers, which is good, but lots of his scout cavalry has already gone down to those spears and retreating off there, so he is not going to be able to take this one. And what do we see? We see a third archery range going down for against Bajzel from Toray. Toray going up with the double range there. Don't think we've seen much more. All he's got back at his home base is 2 towers, 3 towers, and a blacksmith. So at this point, Toray's definitely starting to win the units, but he's going to lose this smith here, so he's still back down to double, and Bajzel's going to take that kill. So what do we have here? Armor upgrades done, no upgrades on the scout cavalry. Those spears just picking everything off. And we do have Bajzel halfway towards Castle Age House Toray. Toray's going to be into Castle Age first. So at this point it's going to come down to who can mass the most cavalry archers. And of course with cavalry archers, you really need to get harassment with them. You're not as likely to kill it. However, we do have another stable going up, which is interesting enough, because that means we could potentially see knights be constructed. Of course knights aren't bad units, but when they're outmassed by cavalry archers and skirmishers, there's not really a lot they can do. But bloodline's being done there, which is fair enough for these cavalry archers. Elite skirmisher upgrade is being done, and what are we going to see from you? Are you going to go up to crossbows? Yes. Elite skirmisher, not so much. Seen all the upgrades there, haven't seen the armor upgrade. Being pushed back by these elite skirmishers though. Elite skirmishers of course going to be able to make a big difference. And the economy bonus right now for Toray, he's going to be able to absolutely smash out with that bonus. He's going to be able to get lots more units on play. He's going to be able to get those town centers up if he wants to. And we've got armies moving both across the field here, so it's going to come down to who can do the most damage. And with these towers here, I doubt that Toray is going to be able to do the damage he wants, just because one, he's going to be able to garrison there, and two, he doesn't want to lose unnecessary units. As good as skirmishers are about taking arrow fire, any unnecessary arrow fire like that you don't particularly want. So cavalry archers starting to get massed by both players right now, but it's mostly going to come down to who does the most harassment, who kills the most villagers, and I think that's how it's going to end. It's someone's going to lose too many villagers. Mangonel. Oh, very nice. And killing that spear as well, very nice from that Mangonel actually. Mangonel absolutely smashing out the damage and forcing them off. So that's why Mangonels are good, guys. You can absolutely defend against large numbers of crossbows, skirmishers, even cavalry archers if they're not moving so much. Not so much Mangudai, but losing a lot of skirmishers there to that Mangonel actually. And that Mangonel, if it gets into position, it's going to be able to do a hell of a lot more damage. And killing his own spear there, and still losing quite a few elite skirmishers though. Bajzel has managed to take the top of the score now, which is interesting because he hasn't really been there all game, even though it has been quite close. So, University, Ballistics going down. What else are we going to see? Nothing really. It's just developing into a standard Hun War. It's just come down to who gets the most harassment at this stage, and who managed to get the most lucky pickoffs like that. Market there, which is interesting. You don't usually see markets go down, especially when you've got enough resources there of your own. The main thing I could say was probably going to do with that was probably going to buy stone. However, we do have a cavalry archer force there from Bajzel in the main base, so unless that gets picked off nice and quickly, it's going to be able to do some really bad damage to those villages. However, offering for a retreat there, probably a smart idea. Double Mangonel there for Toray. And Bajzel's still going on, pretty much unharassed. The only real harassment he had was these elite skirmishers here. And second town center's actually gone up, and I believe it's gone up before Toray's. Yes, it has, which is really interesting. I was expecting Toray to try and just outboom his opponent as much as possible, because he had the resource advantage going into Castle Age, so I'm surprised he didn't try and push it into a bigger advantage. But he did have to put up this defensive tower here, which probably would have costed him the stone that he needed, and I don't think he's actually mined any stone because of this wall off here. So there's not really a lot he could have done, so I don't really blame him for that, but there goes the market. And is he going to buy some stone now and put up a town center? Yes, there we go, buying 100 stone there, and there goes the town center. Right next to that gold supply there. Beautiful. But let's check the populations quickly. We have 79 for Toray, and Bajzel is currently sitting on 98 if it will finally go across. And we have two offensive groups of cavalry archers moving out, one for each player. However, it looks like Bajzel is going to be in a better defensive position due to, again, this town center here, these towers here, and towers of course getting that upgrade on the range as well as attack. And right now, we can see that Toray is standing to lose a lot of villagers, but if he's forced into a corner, like this one up here, but it looks like he's going to be able to get through there actually. Yep, and he's going to be able to kill off all of those villagers there. So, Toray's still looking to be in quite a good position. He's got quite a good economy, but it's not by much. As we can tell by the scores, there's only about 100 points in it. And going to get another hit there. One more. Nope. So it's, as I said, it's coming down to who can get the most harassment. We've got 3 town centers up for Bajzel right now, and of course that means he's going to be able to start to outboom. He had that second one up a lot before of Toray, and Toray losing a lot of farming here, got a lot of idle villagers sitting about, just due to the fact there's been so much harassment coming in from Bajzel. And Bajzel, honestly, doesn't look like he has many idols at all. His economy is working very, very well, but I would say he's just behind on villager count at this stage. It's really, really close though. Toray's still sitting in at a top 300 points, so he has got quite a bit. And if Bajzel isn't careful, he's going to lose this forward base here. And if he loses that, he's got no military production at all to come back on, which is going to be very, very dangerous, because he's got 3 archer ranges up here, and 4 including this one here. So that's a lot of wood lost there, and on this barracks and stable, there's going to be a lot of resources lost. So, if he loses them, he's going to be forced to rebuild them. And in that case, he's going to be down on quite a lot of wood. And wood, of course, is probably one of the most useful resources at this stage of the game, especially when you're going for a heavy archer mix. We do see lots of cavalry archers from Bajzel already on the field, though. And until he gets some more archeries up, he's not going to be able to do a lot. And here comes the end of this barracks. Yep, so that's his only barracks down. And he's about to lose these 2 here. However, there is a town centre up here, so he's got 4 town centres on the field now. And he does have this offensive siege workshop up, but I don't know if it's going to be doing much looking at the bases right now. Bajzel currently going back to the top of the score though, out booming yet again. And so he's on 4 town centres, so that explains why he's doing so well. And he's got these 3 archery ranges up, down over here, which means he's going to be able to keep that cavalry archer count up. But of course, losing these archery ranges here, it's losing production, and you don't want that. You want as much production facility as possible. Of course, don't overdo it, but the more you have, the better. Town centre going down over there for Toray, another one going down here. And looks like this archery range is going to fall. However, right now we do see Bajzel straight on it, going in for as much harassment as possible. And still though, it has been quite a dull game, I will say. Not because there hasn't been a lot going on, but because there's been so much defensive play going on. Both players have been defending out really well. And here we go, going to be able to get quite a bit more damage on here. And going to be able to take out this town centre too if nothing's done about it. And of course, having this hill bonus, it means they're going to be able to do a lot more damage. But it looks like they will get sandwiched actually between this force here. And hill bonus there, and losing that mangonel. Got to remember, mangonels are pretty expensive. They're not nice to lose at all. And so Toray's starting to get outboomed quite badly. He's down by 600 points, and he's down on army as well. If we look at it, there's quite a large army force around right now for Bajzel, and Bajzel has great map coverage. He's been holding the map pretty much since the start. What do we have? We have scout cavalry getting built there, so it looks like they're going to go up to light cavalry. And if that happens, it's going to be on. Obviously, we can see Bajzel going for a massive attack really, really early. And I'm interested to see whether or not he's got a stable down here, because he's going to be wanting doing that light cavalry upgrade before he does anything else, because you don't want to attack with scouts before you have your light cavalry upgrade. But hey, it's not my game, I'm not playing, you can do whatever the hell you want. We do have bloodlines though, of course, because they would have been used for these cavalry archers. Bajzel just sticking it out on top right now, and we do have Bajzel going up to Imperial Age, Toray not going up to Imperial Age. However, he does have this defensive castle up, which is going to prove a bit to break. So there is the light cavalry upgrade there, and Bajzel is probably going to take this just because he's going to be Imperial so much faster than his opponent. And when you get to Imperial in a Hun War and your opponent isn't, and you manage to get that heavy cavalry archer upgrade, get the bracer upgrade, all those upgrades make a really big difference. So right now Toray really needs to put the damage in and just get as much of these villagers killed as he can, just so he can stall his opponent once he gets to Imperial Age. However, very quick garrison there from Bajzel, so he's going to be able to hold that out. Just looking at the map, you can't really tell a lot. We do see this offensive castle for Bajzel though. It is going to be very, very dangerous when he starts getting into Imperial Age, because he's going to be able to get those trebuchets out, sit him up about here, and just start slamming away at all these buildings down here. And we do have quite an offensive force coming down for Toray right now, and it looks like Toray might just have a smaller army here. Bajzel's definitely close, it is very close, but that Imperial upgrade, when he gets all those upgrades on his cavalry archers, it's not going to come down to that so much. He's just going to be able to out-tech his opponent so easily. And trebuchet, there we go, that's going to be able to do a lot of damage. This force over here, and heavy cavalry archer been done there, bracer been done, chemistry obviously very, very close. I'd love to see it get done just because all those flaming arrows are so cool. But another town centre down over here, so we can see that Bajzel has spared no expense when booming his economy. Second castle up here. These trebuchets, of course, causing as much heck as possible, making it as hectic as possible for his opponent. Lots of skirmishes being created now, which says to me that Toray is having trouble, and looks like I've left my game ranger on. which is never a good sign. Hopefully nobody starts talking to me. But we do have cavalry archers, of course, in the main base trying to defend, and Imperial has been done. Siege workshop going up there, so we'll probably either see some mangonels or some rams be created, one or the other, and siege workshop, castle. So going on the real offensive push here, he wants to end it. This is going to be the push that ends it. Castle being attacked by a trebuchet, second one idling there, obviously meant to be attacking. Lots of heavy cavalry archers there on play for Toray. However, there's still only 600 points in it. But Bajzel is in a very, very offensive position right now. It's going to be very hard for Toray to take this down, especially with this hill here. Another offensive castle going up there, going to be able to do the damage. Kill these villagers off here as well. They've got the range upgrade on them, so they're going to be able to do a fair bit of damage. Lots of cavalry archers killed over here. These light cavalry are still going nuts right now. Do we have any upgrades on them? We have the first armor, and that is it. Lots of capped rams being in play right now, just because of the fact they can destroy buildings so well, and the fact they'll absorb so much of that cavalry archer damage. Sure, I seem to be quite tired right now. But, nonetheless, and in go the trebuchet shots to kill off those cavalry archers, something you don't see a lot of. Lots of capped rams being produced right now, and as we know, capped rams do very good damage versus other capped rams. And there's proof. Down to 31. But right now, it's starting to look like a good game for Toray. He just does not have what he needs to win this. He's going out trying to get more wood, however, he's going to be seen at every possible turn right now. He's managing to push back across this side, but it's not really enough when you lose your main base like this. He has nowhere really to gather wood from. These castles are just doing too much damage. He's moved down over here, but naturally these stables will be on it really, really quickly. Plus he's got a town center right here. Town center and siege workshop going up down over here. And there's another town center going up there to keep him off that. And once this castle here goes down, I wouldn't be surprised if he throws in the towel, just because of the fact he doesn't really have a lot he can do. He's got no defense up. He's lost all his farming area here. These cavalry archers are going to be able to just run hectic in this base. And here we go, so lots of units down over here going to be able to fight this off. As long as those cavalry archers keep outmassing. These ones down here under the town center, very risky place to be, but naturally if you're fighting them off the town center, fair enough. And castle being repaired like crazy, surprised it hasn't gone down yet, mainly due to the fact it had like 2 rams and a trebuchet on it, but what can you do? These cavalry archers over here are going to be able to kill off a lot of villages, and it's currently 3,000 points up to Bajzel right now, so I wouldn't be surprised any moment if Toray throws in the towel. I probably would have thrown it in a while ago, just due to the fact I knew I was so far behind, but you know, sometimes you can be quite deceived. And we do have all the upgrades right now for both players on their cavalry archers, and light cavalry going up. They're going to need those last 2 attack upgrades as well as the armor upgrade on them for the last one. Toray losing a lot of his base, managing to come back a bit in the scores. Actually, I won't say I'm not surprised by that, because I really am. Extra blacksmith going up over there, lumber camps going up. Oh, so this is actually turning into a really long game, which is interesting to see. Capped rams being created here, trying to take these castles down. However, the castles are all getting that hill bonus. That's right, buildings do get hill bonuses too. Lots of archery ranges for Toray, but he's just not being able to keep up with his opponent. His opponent has got too good an economy set up. Well, not too good, but a better economy than he has, I should say. And I don't even know if good is a freaking word. So I must be really tired, so I'll probably cast the next one tomorrow. So, finishing off this fight here, and there we go, there is a good game for Toray. Fair enough, in my opinion. Siege rams on your archery ranges, you don't have much army left, your opponent has complete map control, so what's the point in going on? Alright guys, we had a victory there for Bajzel. I'll see you in Game 2 to see if Bajzel can make